Hi guys, and I'll continue with that one. To do another one to tell you, I made a timeline here, but it's a little dark yet. But this is the ongoing impact that it makes on your life. I just posted a video about a lovely artist that I follow. I'm not able to do any art. I don't have a studio anymore. I have a beautiful $5,000 MacBook Pro that was damaged or destroyed. I had a whole studio with paints. I had went to school for painting when I first was an artist down to New Paltz, which they constantly made fun of and called New Palsy. That was consistent. Certainly with destroying my graduation party, breaking a pool ladder, destroying the pool liner. And then my mother took me to the store, told me she had paid for the pool ladder, a new one, told me to walk out with it, gave me a receipt. And as I got to the car, um, I had accidentally locked the keys in the car because they usually put them up in the visor. And I was learning to lock the car all the time. So I kind of did both. I put the keys up in the visor and then I locked the door. But suffice to say, there was a man there calling us, hey, ma'am, with the receipt. The receipt wasn't correct, of course, but I thought it was discharged. I believe I was 16. I had just got a learner's permit. I could drive at night with, after dusk with an adult. But she never told the truth. So all these years later, it was on my record. And she's done this stuff right along. It's horrible when you have to come to terms with your own mother, involved in this with your ex-husband and various boyfriends that she's had. The latest one was up at my lake house, Don, and now she has this other new one, Rich. But this Don showed up, tell me that she didn't want, the girls that are my nieces to visit me and so on and so forth. So this is what all these people have done. They didn't visit, they didn't come around, they picked fights to make it look like you were crazy, which has been the ongoing allegation. So right away here, it's you're crazy, you're making stuff up. I find this very heinous that you can continue this, certainly that there's more children involved. This has gone on, just like with the Epstein case. I mean, these victims have been looking for justice for decades. I can't pursue my career now. I had a communications career that I loved. Certainly after growing up with nothing, this is the result. Because certainly police can get away with anything. I had all Mr. Spencer's friends in Amsterdam, my neighbors telling me how powerful he was and there was nothing I could do. And they threw me around the city in a tent and arrested me repeatedly and made up all this stuff about me after 20 years of no police involvement in my marriage at all. All of a sudden, they're repeatedly showing up in nonsense stuff about not curbing my dog, and then they take my dog, or I was too close to a fire hydrant, then they take my new car, then they lock you up for a string of broken Christmas lights after they roofie you and you lose your job. You lose your whole entire storage unit that has portfolios in it to pursue work. So this is the response to this sort of thing, which is forcing women into trust prostitution. And certainly we know this from when children are preyed upon, and are put in vulnerable situations. And most prostitutes were trafficked. It doesn't always have to look like women locked up in a room, and it can certainly look like a marriage because that's what mine was. It's basically stealing. They call it economic abuse now because they want to start a whole new thing, but there's nothing new. It's called stealing. You could steal from your parents, you could steal from your spouse, you could steal from your children by not paying your child support. And certainly when you can't work, Mr. Spencer and his gang of thugs showed up at the gym, rounding up all these guys with my ex-husband to get me kicked out of Planet Fitness, to get me kicked out of the gym. So, of course, the stereotypes is you're fat, you're ugly, you're old, nobody wants you, which is what my ex-husband's threats were. I mean, most men, if you ask them if they would hook up with somebody, they would. But right away, when there's trouble, right away, oh, they got all sorts of reasons. She's fat, she's ugly, she's disabled, she's old. I wasn't hooking up with anybody. I was taking my ex-husband back and forth to have eye surgery. I was planning to retire up to the lake early and work a part-time job. Less demanding career because we were going to retire a little bit earlier, and I was going to be able to pursue my art, which was my graphic design business, my art. I had a studio, spent lots of money over the years putting this together, and now it's all gone. It's all destroyed. And this is what these men find funny. And this was after I was sexually assaulted. I had prior trauma, so it was very difficult. I had been in shock for almost 5 years, and I'll continue to talk more about that because I think we need to explore that. It's like dentists that don't understand toothpaste. We have law enforcement that doesn't understand shock and trauma, I think, which is repugnant. Imagine going to your dentist and them telling you they don't understand toothpaste. So this is what we have. Oh, we don't understand shock and trauma. Oh, yes, you do. You deal with it all the time. And in fact, you have problems within the profession with trauma. And certainly he was out making fun of disabled veterans over there when I was advocating about the homeless apartments for veterans. My mother's first boyfriend was a disabled veteran. He had a Purple Heart. He had issues. He was under the care of the VA. Certainly my cousin using heroin. And this is how these people graduated to trying to, force into prostitution or be inappropriate. Usually women, you have a history of this kind of stuff. I'm running over, so I'll continue to speak out. But this is their response. And we know how incompetent their response is: domestic violence. Certainly we see the cases, case after case after case, where they get it wrong. And certainly people know that. And certainly with this type of economic abuse, denying your assets, forcing you on the street. And what are women going to do when they're in a vulnerable situation? Be safe, guys.